Yeah, we purging on this Friday.
Purging Friday.
Yeah, we are. But
Yeah.
I just want to know if your feelings about to get hurt, they just gonna get hurt. For all our colonizer friends that are tuning in, I just want to know if your feelings gonna get hurt today, because some truth being ready to go down. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. And of course, let me just go down and make the rounds again today. Of course, on this early late spring, or should I say early summer day. Sitting right next to me on the right-hand side, and black on the right-hand side, is my Boule friend, my Boule Negro friend.
Well, I got to be Boule.
Yeah, Boule.
You got your boy staying Boule now. I'm like, Lord, do I got to hear from two people?
You know you're a Boule.
I'm so not Boule.
Okay. Miss Black Beauty, how you doing,
What's
sweetie?
What's up? I am good.
And sitting beside her, now we got to go back to the boom bap, the old school right here. This is my boy. One of my homeboys from grad school, law school. My man, look at him, lawyer extraordinaire. Look at him. Now he looking like John Barrymore today, but we're gonna go ahead and let him.
You know, I've been quarantined.
He's been quarantined, so
I had to let it grow out a little bit.
Yeah, one of our old co-hosts from back in the day, Mr. Jimmy C. Morris. How you doing there, bro?
Man, I'm not good, man. I'm not good, man. It's too much going on, man. I'm just trying to keep balance because it's hard.
I know it's hard. It's hard out here.
Hard is not the word. You get kind of angry when you see the things going on, and then when you see the other black people, because I'm not going to call them African Americans, I'm going to say black people that don't feel the same anger that you feel, or don't feel the same energy that you feel. It kind of makes you mad. It gets you down in your feelings, and I get the feeling like I'm Kendrick Lamar. You know, I got loyalty inside my DNA, so I'm feeling a certain type of way. If you're not mad, then it's something wrong. It's something wrong.
Well, the thing about it is, you know, I hate to take that position because you always have these individuals who are either not black enough, or you have that are blacker than everybody, and we're never going to be able to get a consensus of people in the community if we're too black or we're not black enough. Everybody is in the same boat. I mean, it's kind of the old adage. What do they call a black doctor running through Central Park? You know. They call them the same thing they call the rest of them.
Yeah.
Right.
So
you're right about that.
The reality of it is we are all in this thing together, but we have to be strategic on how we deal with these things. But I mean, I'm at the point now where what can we do not to be killed by the police? Because they say, well, don't have your gun. Well, get your concealed license. Well, don't move. Well, don't breathe. Well, you're
screwed if you do.
You're screwed if you don't.
Submit.
Right.
Don't fight back.
Right.
And then no matter what we do at any point, we still die at the hands of the police. It would have been better had we fought back, shot back, did everything we weren't supposed to do. I mean, because at the end of the day, you have a guy on the street with 18 complaints on him for overbearing behavior.
And he's been involved in what? Is it 2 killings or is it?
And you got him out on the street, and he's sitting there on somebody's neck, and look like he's enjoying it.
Yeah, enjoying it, and he's staring at the camera defiantly, like I wish you would. I'm not going to do it, and I'm going to apply more pressure just because you're looking at me.
Yeah, so I'm glad that I wasn't the only one who saw that, because when I look at that picture, you can see that he has a sense of relief or a sense of power about the situation.
Well, let me just take a shot.
I'm going to say this, but he didn't feel so powerful when he had to have 300 people guarding his house.
Right.
That was
right. So hold on. Let me just make a shout out, because I see somebody over here a little perplexed. I see the sweat beading up on his head. It's our elder statesman, the angry black man, Mr. Super Day. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing about the same as you all are doing.
About sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Well, I'm not even that anymore. Here's what I'm tired of people doing. This has been going on since we arrived on this continent.
Since before the Mayflower.
And at some point, because if you understand this country and the history of this country, the only thing it recognizes is violence.
Yeah.
Right. I was laughing at some white boy yesterday who posted something. He said, well, what is that going to solve? Well, let me ask you a question. What did it solve when you went and bombed Iraq?
Right.
And killed their leader? And that wasn't even the right country.
Right.
So it's always convenient for them to use violence when they want.
But when we
But
use
when
it,
we
it's
use it,
wrong.
it's wrong.
It's wrong.
And the only thing that they're going to understand, and it has taken me a long time to get here, the only thing that this country is going to understand is violence, because they continue to kill our people. They continue to kill our women. They continue to kill our men. And we can no longer sit around and just pray about it and hope that they come to some sense of justice. We have got to start acting. Now, whether that's by the bullet or the ballot, we've
Right.
got to start acting.
By
And
both.
that's how I feel about it.
Well, and you're right. I mean, we are at a point where, that's our option, bullet or ballot. And the frustrating part about it is that you saw what happens when we get angry in Minnesota. I mean, they burned down the police station, but they burned the library down, they
Right.
burned some other shops down. But we have to make a distinction between how these things are looked at. Number one, when there were white guys with guns running in Michigan
Right.
and running in
Up to the Capitol.
into the Capitol in Michigan and Wisconsin, the president never called them any name.
Right.
Never called him a thug.
Citizen.
He actually
And
encouraged it.
And the only thing the cop did was take their temperature.
Yeah.
Yes.
So last night, midnight, he seems to say that the black people who now are angry
Right.
that we keep getting killed by the cops. So, in other words, we're angry at being victimized. We shouldn't be angry at being victimized.
But wasn't it in 2007 when he made the comment to the police to use whatever force necessary to stop?
No. That was we'll go to that. But it was like 2016 when he was running
Right.
for office. He
He
said the
ran for
police
office, he
were
said
being
that.
too nice.
Right,
when they
right.
put him in the
That's
car.
it.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Hit
So-
their head on the back.
Yeah,
something like
so
that. Right.
so he's a person that incites violence,
Yeah.
that looks at people that are in fake authority figures, and the reason why I say fake authority, I should say fake authority positions, because we have these people that are definitely, to me, mercenaries. We have people that are hiding behind the badge, that are members of extremist groups, that are members of the KKK, the Aryan Nation,
go
and
to the
everything
military
else. That go
specifically
to
to
the
learn
military
learn urban warfare.
to
Yep.
explicitly learn how to harm, how to kill, how to fight back with force. So when you have these type of people that are joining these organizations, we don't have anybody to protect us.
Well, here's the deal. That's not necessarily true. What's happening when this pandemic hit. If you noticed, if you were anywhere around anything related to guns,
Yeah.
you would know that guns were being bought up,
Yep.
ammunition was being
Being
bought
bought
up,
up. Yep.
and they weren't
Couldn't even keep it on the shelf.
But they weren't just white people buying.
It was everybody.
It was
Everybody.
everybody because
Right.
everybody was nervous.
Right.
So that means that there are a lot of people who, I mean, my brother Hassan does concealed carry classes, and his classes have been full since the pandemic
Right.
hit.
Right.
So they're not only white people walking around with guns now. You have
Hey,
black
Arthur.
people walking with. I mean, and the reality of it is,
But black people got smart.
well, no. Here's the deal: because if Trump is talking about sending in National Guard's already there. So
Right.
So
Right.
at midnight, he wasn't talking about that because
Right.
they were already there.
Right.
If he's talking about extremists or people coming in with guns,
Or vigilantes. Right.
be prepared. Pookie and
prepared.
Ray Ray are angry, and Pookie
Right.
and Ray Ray shooting
Right.
back now. So
Right.
what we want to understand is,
Right.
when the shooting comes, we shooting back at this
Right.
point.
Right.
So if you don't want the shooting come, what you need to do is calm it down and not, get it hyped up. Because I'm just telling you, black folks.
We had enough. We didn't have. Look. Let me explain.
we
something.
ain't-
You get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Well, since Trump
We ain't
became
gonna march
president,
forever.
Since Trump became president, gun sales for black people have jumped, and now you have what is called the National African American Rifle Association that a lot of black people are joining. And look, I'm glad. When I went to the gun show, it was last year in Little Rock in
February?
January. No, it was in January.
Okay.
When I went there, I was proud. I ain't gonna even lie. I was proud to see brothers coming in and buying their weapons because, and it's funny, the gun dealers, they sit around here and they try to act like they're not bothered, but trust me, because they're making money.
Right.
But I'm glad to see brothers coming in and taking it
Well, it's
seriously.
not. Yeah, they will sell them to you.
Yeah.
They're not bothered.
Right.
But look at how they try to sell you their politics
Yeah.
along the way.
Oh,
I mean,
go
I
ahead.
just happened to yesterday. There was a shooting in North Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
There was a shooting in North Little Rock. I just happened to be in Don's weaponry,
Right.
right
Oh,
down
boy.
the street from the shooting. Phone calls started to come in while they were in there, and everybody was talking about the shooting. So then it jumped to Minnesota because I'm the only black guy in there. So I guess we gotta, talk about Minnesota because
Yeah.
we need some of you nice black folks to calm it down if it happens down the street.
Right. And if he's in a race, he might be one of us.
And so every once in a while they try to say their politics and all that, and you just I listen, and you may have a point. I may not agree, but I keep going.
Right.
And so he kept reiterating, man, that guy who killed that black guy in Minnesota, man, he needs to be punished. He needs to go to prison. He needs to get death penalty. But
Right. There goes the but. It's always going to be
It
there.
needs to be done in a court of law.
we don't need any looting.
Yes. Yes.
Now keep in mind, this was 30 minutes after the brother was shot down the street.
Right.
So I can understand people, especially I'm a small business owner. I don't want you looting my stuff either.
Right. Right.
But when you're angry and when you're frustrated and when you feel like you have no voice, and I can tell you from a person who suffers from that kind of, I'll call it a mental illness, because compassion fatigue runs high in lawyers, where we feel sometimes like we can't fix a situation no matter how hard we want to do it.
Right.
You do things that are irrational.
Right.
Like if you are mad at your girlfriend or your wife and you throw your own phone against the wall and it breaks.
Right.
How rational was that?
Right.
It wasn't rational,
was-
but it released some of that.
Yeah,
pain.
but it was something that was self-destructive. You got to now go buy.
It was counterproductive,
and iPhones cost $1,100, but in that moment, that frustration built up that you did something that was counterproductive. Well, that's the same thing.
Right.
If Mr. Charlie's shop is across the street and Mr. Charlie has talked crazy to me, just like the police, and the police just killed, I might burn down Mr. Charlie's shop.
Right.
It's not intentional. It's
Right.
just I'm fed up, and everybody gets it at that point.
Right.
Now, if you catch me 2 weeks later, Miss Charlie, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like
I
do
was
the-
angry.
Remember
I
do
was
the right
mad.
thing?
Yeah.
Remember do the
yeah.
right thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and understand this, and I don't want us to racialize the issue to a point. And when you said Don Breppy, because I had a beef with one of those dudes in there.
Well, I'm not saying that. I mean, I'm
I get what you're
giving you.
saying.
I'm giving you
I hate them.
a just giving you a viewpoint. I'm not saying that.
Right.
Look, let me tell you
Right.
something. I don't agree with all black folk.
Right.
I
You
don't
don't
disagree
agree.
with all white folk.
That's right.
Right.
I have friendships in all walks of life.
Right.
right.
Some of my friends are Trump supporters. Some of them are Biden supporters. Some of them don't know where they're coming or going.
Right.
Right.
I don't judge you by that. But what I am saying is the politics was being sold because they want to make sure that
That
if
you're
you
all right.
shooting,
Right.
you not shooting in their direction. You're-
Right.
No. I
So-
get.
so-
I get totally what you're
So
saying.
that's all I was saying. They don't know me. I mean, they know me, but they don't know me from Adam.
Right.
But just like anybody else.
Right.
Like, how do you feel about you buying a weapon?
Right.
Right.
Who you plan to shoot?
Right.
at?
Who you
Right.
plan to shoot with it?
So
Yeah.
you
Well,
guys-
if you don't plan to home defense, good.
Good. There we go.
Okay, so yeah, we have a comment from Mark Big Cali Allen. He says, I was in the 1992 LA revolt. We got tired. The nonchalant, arrogant, self-righteous attitudes of some of these white people are insulting. When you empower them with the ability to control our livelihood, we are almost at their mercy. We can't expect our haters and oppressors to uplift us. They are and always have been hell-bent on destroying our people.
Man, they had to get Rodney to stop me.
Right.
Because you know what? We were going to tear this up.
But understand this too, and I and this is what I'm saying when I say when we racialize it. I don't want it to get twisted. There are some white people
That are mad.
that are hot.
Mad, yeah.
When I said these white people said, look, and it's not necessarily because they want to invite. They would in any other normal situation invite George Lloyd to dinner. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? It's because they know eventually when they get through stomping on our necks, they
They're
know
gonna
the
stop.
police coming for them next.
And
Well,
it-
no, I think there are some white
there's some
people
decent
that are
white people.
genuinely angry.
Right.
angry.
Right.
Look, I'm gonna tell you something. I remember when I was part of a lawyer group suing the Louisiana state penal system on behalf of some Muslims.
Right.
They were denying the Muslims access to the Final Call newspaper.
Right.
And when they were denying them access to the Final Call newspaper, they alleged that it caused violence.
Right.
So I was on a group of Muslim lawyers and also some ACLU lawyers. I sat on the
Right.
ACLU.
Violation of religion.
Yeah, I sat on ACLU. And there were some white lawyers on there that were fighting as hard to get these brothers
Right.
their right
Right.
to have the final call.
Right.
So there are some white people
That
who
understand.
are
Who get the decency.
who are enraged.
Right.
The protest, we'll call it,
Right.
in Minnesota
Right.
was a mixed protest. It
Yo,
wasn't.
that's what I'm
was.
saying. It wasn't.
not-
That's what I'm saying. If
It
you look at
was.
that looting, there were
And
white
even-
people and black people.
Even
together.
with the people that were just simply marching,
Right.
everybody wasn't looting.
Right.
Everybody wasn't violent.
Right.
Even with the people that were marching, there were
Right.
black and white
The
people
people,
out
yeah.
there.
Right.
Then, but what killed me about this situation is there's a video going around where
Oh,
you
my
see
God.
the white guy who has now been identified as a police officer
was agitated.
was agitating. He was a provocateur, as
Yep.
you love to say. He's going through with the hammer.
Trying to knock the windows out, and they caught him.
And they said that he was the person that started the fire in AutoZone. Who utilizes AutoZone? We do. You know, and he made it appear that we did it. That's the same thing that happened in Ferguson.
Well, see, but
You
that's
have-
that's what happens though when you have large protests that
Right.
tend to be unorganized. You get provocateurs and what's
Well,
the name?
how do you organize something from the fact the brother got killed? You know,
Right.
Like,
Right.
hold on, brother. Let's not be angry. Let's organize it.
Right.
In 2 weeks, we gonna come and show y'all something. No, I mean, come on.
right.
Right.
Eh,
Hold on, let me get David because Dave look like he about to bust a vein. Dave, you got anything you want to add to this, bro? Because you look like you're trying to be cool as you can.
No, I was just reading a post from a redneck white woman, but
Oh, see.
but
Oh,
but
Lord.
Yeah.
but here is
A Karen, huh?
and here is what we need to understand. In 1921 in Tulsa, that was a riot.
Yes,
Yes.
it was. The
Okay.
Boston Tea Party was a riot.
Okay, but what happened in Minnesota, that was anger.
Right.
That was anger of not just what happened to Brother Floyd,
Right.
but we forget about Philando Castile,
Castile.
which was killed in a suburb.
Right.
We forget it, and I can go down a list of people.
It starts from Trayvon
Well,
Martin and
and-
goes on
Starts
and on.
and what
Freddie
Dr.
Gray.
and what Dr. King said, which many of us like to pick and choose the nice things about Dr. King.
Right.
But Dr. King was a radical,
Right.
and he understood something very important. He said these types of things are the voices of the unheard.
Right.
And how long? I'm 59 years old.
Right.
This has been going on all my life.
Right.
How long?
And we supposed to be
Well,
free all
You
your
see,
life.
Well, but here's what happens. It's language, how they characterize it. Because if you remember these white folks who, after a football game or something, they done turned over cars and all that. That's not considered a riot.
Right.
When
Oh, they're
That's
just it's
celebration.
celebrating.
when
setting couches on fire in
Right.
Penn
Right.
State.
Right.
Yes.
But when we do something, it is a riot. Now, you know, when people go and protest Confederate statues,
Right.
there are nice people on both sides.
And y'all know right now the KKK is riding through Houston, protesting with their hoods on.
But according to the president, there are nice
Right.
people on both
Yes,
sides.
yes.
But the people who kneel are SOBs,
SOBs.
and thugs.
And then you want to know why. And that was the biggest conversation. You know, MSNBC put that out yesterday. He said, now you understand
Right.
why Colin Kaepernick was
Oh
was
no
kneeling.
No! They don't understand.
No, they don't
They don't
understand. No,
understand
no, you
because
got-
in the comments they're saying, "Oh, that's not the same thing."
That's not the same thing.
It's a difference in patriotism
Play.
and nationalism.
No,
It's
that's not what they're saying to Kaepernick. What they're saying to Kaepernick is, go play ball,
and shut up.
go go dance, go
Go
do some
shoe shine.
Yeah,
Right.
go,
Yeah.
buck dance and do what you're supposed to do. Don't get involved in the politics. Go
Right.
play ball. Same thing they told LeBron. Don't get involved in
Shut up and
politics.
dribble.
Shut up and dribble.
Right.
In other words, the problem they had with Kaepernick is, you an athlete, you're an entertainer. We pay you to entertain us.
Right.
Entertain us.
Shine, boy.
You're the court jester. They
Now,
want the people to be the court jester.
You want us to change? No, that's not your job.
Right.
right?
Go play ball. LeBron, that ain't your job. Shut up.
Right. And dribble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yet they forget that those people still vote.
Right.
They still pay taxes.
Right.
They're still a part of the system. They're still a part of the country. So for me, I get angry when I hear people say that simply because I can't discount you because you don't come from the same socio-economical background, or we don't stay in the same neighborhood, or because you're an attorney and I'm a analyst. I can't discount your
Thank
feelings.
you, Evelyn.
I cannot discount your feelings on anything that's going on because you are still affected by what is going on.
Well, but that's the mistake you make. Some people aren't affected by what's going on. You know, when they talk about living in an ivory tower, there's some people who are
Right.
not affected.
Right. Now I get that.
The
Police killing black people never affects
White people.
white
Right.
folks
Right.
who are in the suburbs,
Right,
who
in the
are lily
suburbs,
white.
right.
There's some things that so they don't have a baseline for it.
Right.
And so when they comment on it, they're commenting from a place of, you don't have to do that because if you had it like I had it.
Right.
you
Yeah.
wouldn't
Like
be
I
sick.
had, you wouldn't have to worry
So
about that.
what you're saying makes sense, Jimmy. But however, was it Dr. Dre that was driving to his house and he was stopped by the police and held up? I think it was one rapper that lived in an affluent neighborhood or
Probably was
whatever.
a lot of them. I mean, it happens all the time.
Right. So what I'm saying is, for people to think that it doesn't affect them because they have money is a misconception.
No, I'm not saying black people.
I know
did it.
you're not
I'm
saying.
saying it doesn't affect white
It
people.
doesn't affect
White
the
people
white
and the
people.
police. White people don't have the same
Thought process
Experience.
or
relationship. They don't have the
experiences.
same relationship or experiences
Right.
with the police that black. I'm telling you, if I had an all black jury and I say the police set my client up, I could hang that jury. If I had an all white jury and said the police set,
Right.
They're not gonna believe you.
They would say unless you had a camera, DNA. I mean that's
DNA,
the problem.
urine sample, right.
That's the problem with all
They
this.
don't
Right.
relate.
The
They
problem,
don't relate.
Right.
the problem with the outrage of Rodney King was this was happening all the time. We know
Right.
in our community it happens all the time.
Right.
The problem was somebody had a camera.
Right.
Right.
And that's what all of these are saying. Not only are we telling you it happens, but now we have
Proof.
empirical proof and
Right.
evidence that it
It
happened,
happens.
and nothing still happens.
So
Right.
then that goes to when people are, well, no, that's what he was supposed to do, or he wasn't trying to kill him.
Hold on,
Every
no,
police.
wait a minute, let's go.
No. Let's not even go there yet. Let's take a step.
Because I want to go there. I always want to put out
Yeah.
Because I really want you to understand. I really want you to understand the frustration. The frustration is the Central Park Karen can call, and
Right.
her word alone
will get you shot.
gets police to come after a black man.
But-
Her word alone.
Right.
And if he didn't have evidence,
Right.
Okay.
That's-
see, we gotta defend ourselves before we
We even get it right.
there.
We
Right.
got to defend
Right.
it. Right.
When we
Okay,
are,
so
when
but
we
then-
are right, we gotta still have evidence.
have
But
we have
Jimmy,
no
but
integrity,
then when
face
you have
value.
those people who have experienced it, like the guy that was bird watching, and now no, we don't need to do
You
this.
know what Boy.
That kumbaya, we shall overcome attitude upsets me in times like this, because if you don't see the urgency of stopping these kinds of things,
Right.
I don't know what world
Well,
you're living in.
Here's what I don't. I'm gonna tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was
Exactly.
Dr. Halim, Halim, I believe, said this a long time ago. He says, I'm worried more about the zealots on both sides. In other words, the person who is, blacker than everybody that,
Right.
me and you are
Right.
Coon or Sambo because,
Right.
we on the radio and
Right.
Right.
we need to.
We ain't out here,
I'm
We're
a-
taking
boule.
pot shots.
We're
at white-
boule.
Yeah, we're boule.
I'm afraid of them.
Right.
Right.
And I'm afraid of the ones that say, can we all just get along?
Right.
The extreme points are you're never going to get them.
Right.
But the ones in the middle, they angry as hell right now. Now, here's the problem. The problem is we don't know what to do. Everybody wants to do something. We don't know what to do. And therein lies the frustration. Everything we've tried, everything we believe, everything that has been preached to us
Does not work.
does not work. If you just be nice to white folk, they're gonna treat you different.
Thank you.
That's been wrong. If you submit to the police,
Some
you
cowgirl
will not
fan.
die.
Right.
That has been wrong.
That's been wrong.
If you don't fight back,
Right.
you'll be all right. That has
That's
been wrong.
that has been wrong.
So now we're at a point where
if you don't resist, you
I
won't
mean-
get a boot in your neck.
You're resisting,
Resisting.
but I'm not resisting.
That's all they have to say. Don't resist.
right.
Yes. And
Well,
then they say it so calmly. Don't resist.
And here's a deeper point. The biggest fear is our children are unafraid
Right.
So our children are unafraid, and now we have to try to instill some fear of them to try to get them to act a certain way. And now they're asking us questions. Dad, he submitted. He did everything you taught me to do.
Right. You told me
he
to.
still died.
Right.
So why shouldn't I fall back?
So my question is, do you want me to be on the ground and let a person slowly choke the life out of me?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. If a police officer is slowly choking the life out of my son right in front of me, it's gonna be 3 of us
Right,
dead.
it's gonna be 3 of us dead.
Because
he gonna have to kill me.
Because he's gonna have to kill me because I'm shooting and
I'm
he can
shooting,
shoot back
and I'm gonna shoot every one of them
Yeah.
that's standing there looking around that ain't doing nothing.
Y'all
And
know what-
so I'm gonna let you know, if Mr. Police Officer, you come
Right.
after Jimmy the third,
Patrice.
there's gonna be a problem.
There's gonna
And
be-
I have a lot of lawyer friends who will just have to defend me, and I'll take the needle in the arm.
Right.
But you're not gonna kill my kid.
No, you're not.
Right.
Gonna
I'm
kill
just
my
letting you
child.
know in advance.
You're not gonna kill
And you
my
damn
child.
sure ain't gonna do it in
Same-
front of me.
You're not
Same
gonna
thing
kill
I
my
said last
sister.
week.
You're not gonna sit around here and you know, and that's what it's saying. People are going after the people that took the camera, saying, "Why you didn't? Why
That
didn't
girl
y'all
was
do something?"
17 years old. What was she supposed to do? What was she was gonna die too, and she knew
Right.
she was already afraid and scared. What was she gonna do?
Right. Well,
And I mean, that's what. And my question is, you know, and I have an issue with the Asian officer that stood there. I have an issue with him. I'm like, bro, that could have been, you know, it's people of color.
Okay, so that leads us back to the question that was in the group, and I don't know if you saw it. Someone asked, what do the other police officers or the black police officers that see all of this stuff going on, what do they say? What do they do?
Well, first of all, you gotta ask yourself the question. You're dealing with people who are in a position best to violate the law
right,
Right.
and best to get away with violation of the law.
exactly. Whoop.
So that's the first thing you have.
Mm-hmm.
So if a police officer,
You should have gave him. You should have
Just
gave him
saying.
the little easel.
all.
Yup.
if a police officer tells on another police officer, he is considered an outcast, and
Right.
he's gonna have a hard time dealing with that. But in Minnesota, there's a law that says if you see someone using excessive force,
Right.
you have a duty to do something. So that's why the other 4 got fired because
Right, because they sat there and did nothing.
but they had a duty to, according to
Right.
them.
Right.
But it is a culture of no snitching.
Right. No snitching and thin blue line.
Yeah, it's
Right.
it's a culture of no snitching. So now here's the problem I have. I didn't see
We're gonna break into it.
was there a white officer? I mean, black officer out there?
No, I don't see.
Oh,
There
okay.
were 3 white officers and an
Yeah, I
a
didn't-
Asian officer.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't see a black officer out there, but I mean that officer would have had a problem.
Thank you.
That problem. That person would have had. You got it. That person would have had a problem had they
Yeah.
a black officer been there and done that. But
Okay, so
it's
what
just-
about the
it's
black
just-
officer that shot the white woman one time by mistake that was in Minnesota that
But he probably got life in prison.
he
or
got
something?
12.5
Oh,
years
yes,
worth.
right.
See,
Right.
this is why, and
Right.
we talked about this on Black Focus yesterday.
Right.
This is why this case is going to be very interesting
Yep.
because
The South there, this Muslim guy.
Muhammad Noor
Yep.
was the black officer who was on patrol late at night when Justine Damon jumped out of the middle of nowhere and startled both he and his partner.
Right,
He shot her accidentally.
right.
He is now spending 12 years in prison.
Right.
Now, many people like to argue, well, you know, the state laws are different from state to state. This is why this doesn't happen. But in this particular case, and by the way, in Hennepin County, in the same county where this took place, so you cannot make that argument now.
Right.
Here are police who actually shot and killed this man.
Right.
Well, not shot and killed him, but assassinated this man.
Right.
Murder.
Now, let's see how you're going to couch that argument now.
Well,
Right.
they're not going to couch it. They're going to change it because
Right, that's what they
because
do.
because here's the deal. It's like
They moved the goalpost.
if you look at Fox, because I wanted to do it, and so I looked at Fox on Monday, and when I looked at Fox on Monday,
Poor Jimmy fighting his phone.
well, because I people, you know, I told people I was going to be on, and
Right.
so I want to make sure they can
They can
it.
see you. Yeah.
But I turned on Fox, and Fox was
Why?
a man who died
Right.
in the custody of police.
No, he was murdered in the custody of
But
police.
even the fact that they can't bring themselves to say the officer did something that could have caused the death.
Right.
They can't even bring themselves to say that, and they changed the argument so rapidly that one of my friend's daughter, who's 18 years old, who, went to Episcopal and has a lot of white friends, got upset because the little white kid was already talking about the looting, but never addressed the fact that the person had been killed.
Right.
Because the argument is so pervasive in the community that it goes down to the children.
It's
Right.
So now
convoluted.
you got 18-year-olds arguing with each other on what the real issue is. And the real issue now, the distraction of the issue is, now they're looting. So you've taken away from the fact that this police officer killed this man, and now you're concerned about protecting property because, in essence, in our community, I guess, property is more valuable than human life.
Right.
Yes.
And then you can go back to, they didn't, when you think like, what was it, Philadelphia, where they dropped the bomb on the black people? Was it?
Yeah.
In 85.
And
That was the Move family.
So my thing is, okay, so y'all don't loot, y'all just drop bombs on people.
Oh, yeah, they do
Y'all
loot.
burn, y'all burn down.
Let me
Well,
just read this quote that just came across my wall. Looting is what filled every prestigious history museum in
Yes.
the Western world.
Right.
Now y'all are anti-looting. How about returning those artifacts?
That's right.
Okay.
Oh, look. I'm telling you, I was in the Louvre in Paris.
The Louvre, y'all.
Do you know?
He's bootleg.
Do you know how many Egyptian artifacts they had in there?
Right.
Egyptian artifacts.
Right.
And it's so funny
No.
because you can think about it, for people who don't pay attention. If you think back to the movie Black Panther, you remember in Black
That's
Panther,
what I was just getting ready to say.
they
The
went.
first thing he said, "I'm taking it back." He said, "That don't belong to you in the first place."
That's right, and it goes back. Art sometimes imitates life, and that's what's going on. But a lot of times we miss those correlations between stuff. But y'all have stolen everything.
I was in the Tower of London, and in there you can go and see the crown jewels.
Right.
The biggest diamond in the world, I believe, is the eye of something, but the eye of something. But it's the Star of Africa, something like that. It's something like that. That was removed from Africa. And here's the deal: when they, gave up their colonies in Africa, they didn't give back nothing.
Nope.
No.
Not nothing.
No, they're not going to give it back.
So, they take what they want.
Right.
They keep it. And because it's been so long, you should be okay
Heck,
with it.
they took us.
Yes.
Well, some of us. They took some
They
of
ain't
us.
giving you back either.
They ain't
So-
gonna give you back.
No,
either.
they won't.
No.
They don't want to give you back. They want you to go back.
No, they don't want you.
to-
They don't want you to go back.
They want you to- all in the comments.
You making a mistake. Listen, when slavery was over with, when it was abolished,
Right.
there was a provision placed in the Constitution in which you could be put back into slavery.
Yep. 13th Amendment.
13th Amendment says, slavery or involuntary servitude that shall not exist, and then it has a unless one has been duly convicted of a crime.
Right.
Right.
So that's
So,
prison.
so yes. So now you duly convicted of a crime. It doesn't even say felony.
Right. Thank you.
It says crime. You can be put back into slavery. Now think about it. Even we've been happy-go-lucky. Every once in a while, your friend who works at the prison tell you he can get something this made or that made, and you all excited. Who made it? How much did it cost them to make?
Right.
How much they get paid for that?
like 12 cents an hour.
So no, they don't want you to go back. They want you to
They want some more
Well,
slavery.
when I
Boy.
say that, I'm talking about
They want you to be productive. And
I'm talking
mel-
about the idiots in
and
the
pass-
comments.
and passive
you
and
know.
melancholy. No, they don't want you to go back. Look, when the pandemic hit and they needed those Mexicans to go and do some stuff in the field and do jobs we didn't want to do, there was no more talk of putting anybody out.
Sure wasn't.
No, they don't need them to go home now. They
Right.
needed them to do whatever. No, man, it's an argument that's predicated on timing.
Right.
It's an argument that's predicated on what's good right now.
Right.
Who
gonna be the modern day slave?
Yeah,
Who's gonna that's all the issue was with the pandemic. Why people were so mad that stores wouldn't open. They want people to serve them. Get out there, put your apron on, get my food.
No.
No,
Being
but
on quarantine
it
is
was
just
kinda-
like
yes,
slavery.
Quarantine
That's
was
what
bad.
My hair.
Yes,
I mean,
my hair.
I mean, here's the deal. Quarantine's bad, but catching a virus is
It's
bad
worse.
too, and dying from a virus. I mean, it's all bad. There were no good options.
Right.
Going to a foreign place where you don't have to worry about the virus, there ain't one. So I
Right.
mean, you just stuck.
Just
I mean,
stuck.
this is the longest time I've been sitting in the United States. Man, I've been so productive. I've reorganized stuff. I done fixed stuff that had
cleaned the house.
Man, house is clean. You know what I'm saying?
Herded my goats.
I mean, everything's in line now because I couldn't do anything else.
Right.
I grew a beard. I mean, just you do what you can.
And he got some gray in there now.
Yeah.
Man, salt and pepper.
Yeah,
You almost look like you're like 35 now.
All right. Okay, I'll
Almost.
take that. I'll take that.
Almost.
Because I wake up feeling, older.
I was like, wait, don't say 45. Don't you say 45.
I wake up feeling older.
Oh yeah. So and you know what? Because I want us to take a real quick break, and I want to come back and talk about premeditated murder versus manslaughter on this cop.
Are you trying to say that they're going to get a man manslaughter?
We'll find out. I'm gonna talk to Jimmy.
Well,
and ask him.
the question is, did he intend to kill?
Yeah, well, that's what we'll talk about right after the break. The whole that Jimmy. Look,
Did
Jimmy
you see my face? Did you see my face?
Yes.
Like,
we are. I already know the answer. We're gonna come back and ask Jimmy. We'll be.
DNA is the song.
You said loyalty.
Okay, cut that one. I'm sorry. Y'all, I'm sorry.
right.
We were
Yeah,
supposed to be playing DNA, and I called the song Loyalty, but I'm geeked and fired up,
Yeah,
too.
you just sit your boule butt down.
You know what? You know what? I
ruining it
listen to
for
Kendrick
everybody.
Lamar. I'm not boule. But you guys, can you all, if you have questions or comments
You
or
want to
thoughts,
ask Jimmy?
you want to ask
And be
Jimmy
quick.
some questions, give us a call at 855-525-5683. That's a lot of fives,
That's
as
a lot
D.
of fives
Sanjay
if you're in
says.
$5 football.
855-525-5683. Give us a call and tell us what you're feeling, your thoughts. Ask Jimmy some questions because I got
And
some
be quick. We
questions.
only got 15 minutes. Black folks always on CPT. But go ahead, Jimmy. We're going to ask. Everybody saw the video. And if you saw the video, it's gut-wrenching. So my thing is I want to ask him because the officers got fired the next day. The mayor called for it. He also wanted to know why the guys were not in jail. But we want to ask, in Jimmy's opinion, and I was listening to District Attorney Keith Ellison talk about we don't want to overcharge, but then we don't want to undercharge either. So just talk to Jimmy about what do you think is the most possible charge that can succeed, as we say back on the
What can they be, not even succeed, what can they be charged with?
Well, I want to know what can succeed. I don't care what they can be
We
charged.
want to get to that too.
Yeah.
Well, here's what you have to worry about. There's my mic. There's my mic. All right, this is what you have to be worried about. One, if it was in Arkansas, and if they would state that it was some negligent issue,
Right.
Meaning I negligently shot the person. I negligently, broke their neck. I negligent. There would be no cause of action at all.
Right.
And I'll give you two cases. There was a case, I think some that we're down in Arkadelphia, Hope somewhere, where a police officer is on a high-speed chase with a guy, and, it's a icy, day. The guy stops. He goes up to the car with his gun out, and he slips on a slab of ice, shoots the guy, kills him. Well, it's negligence. He
Right.
didn't go up there intending to shoot him. He
Right.
just went up there with his gun out, how he would stop a citizen, and he slipped on some ice. I've had a couple of cases. One is this Alexander case where the guy was shot in the back, and the jury determined, based on her argument, that she accidentally shot him. If there's an accidental shooting, there's no cause of action in Arkansas. So in Arkansas, if they could somehow argue that it was an accident that they killed him, then there may not be a cause of action. Now, if you're going to determine intent, what was his intent? Was his intent to kill the man?
Right.
I don't know how you're going to prove intent on that.
There was a firefighter at the scene that asked him, they said that the firefighter asked, what's the man name, Chauvin or whatever, if he could check on on Mr. Floyd, if he could check his breathing, and he told him no. So to me, if that is in fact true,
But is that premeditation?
Is it-
Wanton
yeah.
disregard and
So you
reckless
just-
disregard?
Yeah, I mean,
It's going to be.
was it intent to kill him? I don't know. You have to prove that.
Well, don't we have to also argue intent to cause serious bodily harm to meet that statute
You say what?
requirement? Don't we also have to prove just intent to cause serious bodily harm to
Well-
prove that statute?
Well, here's the deal. Was he in the commission of another felony of some sort? That's going to be hard to determine. I mean, it's going to be a pull between first degree
Right.
and manslaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what the prosecution can prove as far as his intent is going to be the issue. If his intent was just to make him uncomfortable and he ended up dying, that's one thing. If it's his intent to kill him because of the positioning on the neck,
Right.
if it was reckless behavior or wanton disregard for life, it's
so what about
we see it and we get mad and we say he wanted to kill him, but you're gonna have to be able to prove that.
Okay.
Okay,
the
so
legal- right.
then my next question would be, as far as his job and things like that goes, because from what I'm understanding and I've been reading, that he clearly violated, the rules on
Department
how
of
you,
Regulation.
yeah.
Well, they all did,
Right,
because
they all did.
according to what I've heard, in Minnesota there was a hanging, a what do you call it, where they
A lynching?
a lynching
Yeah.
100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And with this lynching, the person was in police custody, and the police turned him over to the lynch
Right,
mob.
to the lynch
Oh,
mob.
Okay.
Right.
And so 100 years ago, they came up with a law that says that police have a certain duty to intervene when they see certain things happening.
Right.
That was 100 years ago. That law, that law still exists. So should the other officers have intervened according to police policy? Yes.
Right.
So that's why they got fired, because they saw him using excessive force.
And they refused to intervene. Right.
But for him, was he violating this person's civil rights? Yes.
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 Did he use excessive force? Yes. Is there a cause of action for federal? Yes.
Yes.
Can the Justice Department get involved? Yes. Does it seem like a hate crime? Yes.
Yes.
And based on his record, it looks like his intent.
Right.
What you can prove in a court of law, that's
Right.
hard. We saw Rodney King, and we saw them
Beating him.
52 hits. But
Right.
they slowed it down to the point that each one of them looked different, and it looked like he was getting up, and what'd you get? Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty.
Like, are you watching the same thing I'm watching?
Right. And it wasn't until the feds got involved
Right.
that you got some semblance of a relief. But when those not guilty verdicts came down, that's when.
Yep. That's when it all
We
broke.
tore that
hell
joke
broke
up.
down. Right. All hell broke loose.
And so sometimes what you can see and what you can prove are two different things. Look at the other cases in which we thought, oh my God, there has to be a conviction, and there's no conviction.
Right.
Kid gets shot in the back. You
Right.
shoot a 12-year-old.
Right.
There has to be a conviction somewhere, and guess what?
Part of that,
Well, look
though,
what
goes
happened- look
back
what
to the
happened,
same
look.
things that Dave talks about, voting. If you're not considered one of the peers because you're not on, you don't vote, you're not registered, so you don't become, you're not eligible to become a juror. Things like that. So it goes back to the
Well,
arguments that
Well,
Dave.
we only concerned about a jury when we either
but you
when
know-
we
We
on
on-
trial
we on
well, I'm
trial.
always
or
concerned
when
about
these things happen.
to people
Right.
in our family.
But I can tell you, I know people all the time
That,
Never
that
get
don't
called
want to
for
go to
jury
jury
duty.
that
duty.
call a defense attorney like myself and ask me, what do I need to tell them so I won't have to serve on a jury?
duty.
and that, I
I'm
don't
looking
get
at them
that.
like, do you know that I could be representing Pookie and Ray Ray and looking at an all-white jury, and you asking me how
You
to
should
get
hang
off?
up on them or transfer them to me.
No. I don't hang up. I explain
Yeah,
to
they-
them.
yeah,
You
they-
educate them.
I explain to them in the best language I can use
And I
on
was
why
doing
that's
the
not a
worst I
good
could
deal.
Right.
Because I mean, here's the reality of it. We talk about people being judged by
By
a jury of their peers, and ain't nobody on there
Ain't no,
looking like
ain't no
Pookie or
peers
Ray
on the
Ray.
jury. And black folks trying to, but I bet you we ain't gonna miss that Jordan sale.
We try our best to get off of things that
We
affect.
ain't gonna miss that. We ain't gonna miss that 50% off sale of Burlington now.
You was just trying to buy some Nikes the other day.
But I don't ditch on jury duty.
Zip it, Boulay. Zip it, Boulay.
But what happens is when officers are on trial, we spend so much time trying to get off juries that now we don't even get called for those type
Right.
of
They
things.
don't call me for jury duty. I want to be.
And
called
then they put a bunch of colonizers on there that already have slanted politics, already have slanted worldviews, who've never had to deal with the experiences of African Americans.
Well, I'm not worried about what gets on there because they show up.
Right, they
we
show
ain't
up.
showing
Right,
up.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying this in a method to be disparaging to someone else. I'm
Right.
saying, hey, we need to be there so more
Right.
of us on there.
right.
So they can hear our views and see
Well-
our
And that was the
perspective.
same things that Latanya and Tawana Bird and Shanice was talking about when they came in, and even Lot when they came in and talked to us when the election for the judgeships was going on. Those are the same things that we've been saying. It's the same things that Dave has been saying, DeSanjay and myself has been saying. You know, these things are very important, and people overlook them or don't think about them. So here it is. We got a situation, and this man may go to trial, and in that county predominantly white anyway that
that?
they're in Minnesota. In
I don't know the
yeah,
demographic. I mean,
so it
It's all
just
Minnesota.
it-
There's
it-
so much. There's so much swirl in
you know what?
I know.
You know what? This is. Let me be honest with you about myself. This situation, the Karen situation I see in court all the time. You know, I am really trying to handle my emotional state when I deal with these things, because yesterday the thought of having to be involved in something on the ground here because of a police shooting,
Right.
I was like, I'm in overload. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So I can't tell you the demographic of Minnesota.
Okay.
I haven't done. I supervision, and here's the deal. I have, if you go to Cafe Havana Cigar Bar, I got CNN on there until people make me turn it off.
Right.
If you go to my house and turn it on, you know, I got the news on. If you get in my car, I have satellite radio.
Yeah.
So I listen to it all the time. This week, I have turned it on to, Shade 45.
Oh, okay.
'Cause
It's too
it's
much.
just too much.
It's too much.
Right.
It is overwhelming at this point.
Right.
So I don't know the specifics of that particular
Yeah.
case, down to the demographics of the jury makeup. I do know here, it's not you get 2 or 3, black people in a veneer for a jury trial, and I've tried several jury trials. But there's some places you go, you lucky to have one black person
Right.
on there. I mean, you lucky, and then they know everybody, so they get themselves up. And look, let me say this real quick. In black folk, if you on a jury, and I know you are Christian, I know you love the Lord, Jesus is your Savior, I get
Look
it.
at Dave. Oh, yeah.
I get it.
I called the
I
Lord, he heard my cry.
I get it, but let me explain something to
Boy.
you real quick. If the prosecutor asks you, can you sit in judgment of another person, your answer is yes.
Thank you.
Because what they do to disqualify us is they call on that old Christian spirit and say, can you sit in judgment of someone?
The
and
Lord
we say,
told me not to
we
judge.
say, we can't judge. My religion won't let me judge, and they exclude you right then.
Right on voir dire. Get on
Right.
him out of here.
The other thing is
Preemptive
this. Let me
challenge.
tell you this. Let me tell you something else about your maybe your religious mentality that may get you in trouble. If you are dealing with the police, this is just free advice, or as my young folks say, this is free game. The truth ain't gonna set you free. The truth might get you 40 years. Don't talk to the police.
Thank you.
Call me, call Ephraim,
Shut your mouth.
call Lee,
Yep.
call Cara, call Ron Davis, call us all before you talk to the
Fletcher
police.
told me that.
Call.
That is not
Look.
your friend.
Right.
Confession is good for the soul, but it ain't good for your case.
Nope.
Okay.
Just a free game.
So
Shut your
Jimmy,
mouth.
before we get off, because I know we only have 6 minutes left, for those who really don't know who you are, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How long you've been practicing law? If you got any big plans, like, are you going to ever run for office here in Little Rock? I mean, things like that.
Okay. So, my name is Jimmy Morris. I am a local attorney. I do criminal defense, personal injuries, some civil rights, domestic relations, and a little bit of probate. I've been in practice for 13 years. 13. I was just in law school.
And
Matter of
how old
fact,
are you?
earlier today, before I put this purple shirt on, I had a law school shirt on. I still think I'm a 2L, but I've been in practice about 13 years. But those 13 years, I can tell you, are like a, what is it? Like a person getting out of boot camp and dropped in a hot LZ in Vietnam. I started my practice with John Walker, and I settled a case on my first day of practice. And John was the type of man who would give you a file and tell you got to take this case and you got to be in court. And you say, well, what day do I got to be in court? He said, no, an hour. So I've been shot at a lot, and I've done a lot of cases, and I've been pretty successful at helping people because partly I never forget that the person sitting on that other side of that desk could be me.
Right.
They generally look like me. They usually have my same demeanor, come from the same environment I come from. They just made a mistake on a day.
Right.
And I know before camera phones, I made a lot of mistakes. The statute of limitations should have run on every single one of them.
Yeah.
But I made a lot of mistakes.
Well, ain't them
And
cops
so I
listening.
know that just as easily as I could be a defense attorney, I could
Right,
have been a
be a
defendant.
defendant.
And so I fight for all of my clients just like that.
Awesome.
So if you ever need me, call me, Morris Law Firm, or you can always find me at Cafe Havana after about 3
Oh, he
o'clock.
gonna plug that.
Yes,
You know he gonna
yes.
plug
I'm
that.
just saying.
So Jimmy, can we get you to run an ad on our show? Can we
You know,
get
you know what?
Yeah.
The FDA, I think, says that running ads like that are illegal, so I might not be able to do that.
We can run
we
Cafe
don't want to
Havana.
get y'all
You
in
can run
trouble.
Cafe
Havana.
Havana. Stop playing. Stop playing.
The coffee shop, huh?
The coffee
There you go.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Jimmy, one thing that I have heard about you is that what sets you apart from other attorneys within the city is that you dig where everybody else doesn't dig. And someone who told me that is an attorney. They said you dig and pull deep down where everybody else doesn't. So that's what sets you apart from the other attorneys and why you win so much.
Well, I think what it is I keep trying to find a way for my client, and I just this is how it is. When the young man was shot by this white police officer here in town, and they
We got 3 minutes.
when that happened, I noticed that the prosecutor can decide when they want to take cases,
Right.
when they don't want to take cases. And so I try to make sure that the prosecutor always understands that if you can choose not to charge a white man when he kills a black man, you can choose not to charge Pookie for
Right.
half an ounce of marijuana.
Right.
So I always look for a way that will help my client, and sometimes I get lucky. Blind squirrel to find a nut.
Well, that's what she was talking about me. That's what
Yeah,
I said
that's
Jimmy
it.
gonna
dig deep.
Jimmy done
If you
dug
get in
me.
trouble, call Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy done dug me out of a pit many a time.
You know what?
That
You know
Matlock
what?
boy, look.
You stay in trouble.
Yeah, I
You
do.
stay in trouble.
You and them goats.
I tell you.
Yes, him and the goat. See, everybody knows
I tell you
about
what
the
that dude told me when we got ready for law. He said, "Boy, I hope you hurry up and get out of law school. I'll let some killers go to get you up in here." Anyway, I want you guys to thank Jimmy for coming in today. Of course, don't forget to go to Cafe Havana. The man got some great stuff going on down
Yes,
there.
the best cigars.
Yes, he is.
And
I
coffee.
think he getting boule.
And
Yeah,
coffee.
And coffee.
And coffee.
And coffee. And thank you for Black Beauty. Of course, Angry Black Man Day. Black Focus is coming up next. We will see you guys.
And I'm still angry, and I'm not going to stop being angry. And you all ought to get angry, too.
You better be angry if you ain't now. So thank you, guys. We'll see you again next Friday. Same bat time, same bat channel. And don't forget, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of Hell's Kitchen, folks. Bye.
See y'all next week.
Hey fans, are you looking for the best chicken wings in the city? Then look no further than Great American Wings, located at 3230 Colonel Glenn Road in Little Rock. Getting ready for the big game?